that
Yeah.
unfortunately
Oh yeah.
England handled the big L.
Right. Don't even go there. All right. I am literally not in the mood. I had to actually get home and calmly do something. In fact, it was one of my Kickstarter games that needs like cards put into sleeves and stuff, and like all the things put out the perforation cardboard and stuff. So I started doing that just to try and get myself to chill the f out. I was
This is what I'm
so
this is what I'm
angry.
picturing. He's like putting it in the sleeve.
Dorks down under. It wasn't quite that bad, but literally the wife walked in and she was like, "Oh, it's bad, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah, it's bad."
Oh my god.
It was all right. I tell you what, though, it was a good game. It was a really good game. It was so South
Hang on.
Africa got their penalty kick in the 78th minute. So it was like we had 2.5 minutes to sort of scramble and try and get anything. But yeah,
Oh no.
it was an absolute kick in the teeth. But it was good. It was a good match to watch. I'll say I was the
Yeah.
only one there this morning with an England top on, so I think I'm the only. It was interesting being at the pub. There was a handful of other people who turned up to watch it, but they weren't supporting. Sort of thing. It was really fun. But yeah,
Yeah, well they weren't they weren't supporting halfway through and they're like, no, we're losing.
oh god, it was. No, they were all cheering. I mean, they're all locals, and they're all New Zealand supporters. They were all cheering for England to win because they wanted to see. Obviously, in their eyes, a weaker team go to the finals against the All Blacks, sort of
To
thing.
be fair though, that is very true.
Well, you say that, but we stomped the All Blacks last Rugby World Cup 4 years ago. We knocked them out of the semis. So
Oh man.
swings and roundabouts, brother. Swings. Anyway, these things happen. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dorks Down Under. I'm your host, Jordan, here from New Zealand. This is Dez, all the way in Australia.
Yes, I am. I mean, I was thinking about that because I'm so used to you just saying a bigger spiel, and then
I
you're like,
I
and this is
am I
American
am,
Australia.
but
I'm
I
like,
am gonna get yeah. So we are Dorks Down Under, ladies and gentlemen. We are on season 2, episode 37, I believe. I believe
you
37.
serious?
I think it's 37. I don't know. I've lost track. I've,
Holy Jesus,
I've
Batman!
genuinely lost track. I cannot remember what number we are meant to be on. And I'm sure the editor, whoever the editor is, can correct me and put a voiceover over it and we'll get it fixed. But anyway,
Seriously.
ladies and
Tax
gentlemen,
one.
we are available on all good podcast websites as well as you can see our beautiful faces on YouTube and Spotify, which is available. If we are not available on your podcast software, you please let us know, ladies and gentlemen. Drop us likes, drop us shares, drop us comments. Tell us what you think about stuff and everything else as well. It's always good to get your opinion on the topic of the week, ladies and
Unless you
gentlemen.
don't agree with it, then
I
no,
mean,
I'm
I
kidding.
would say you can also follow us on social media on TikTok and X. I don't know if we're going to be staying with X though, because I found out that news this week that apparently we're going to have to pay a annual subscription fee just
Or
so
just to use it.
to prove that we are genuine users and not bots. And God knows, I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway.
Robot thing again, where we click and go, we are not a robot.
Oh, God knows, I don't know. It seems like Elon Musk is deliberately trying to fleece everyone out with a bit of money. It's bad enough that you have to pay to have your blue tick, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
now I'm gonna have to pay if I want to just use Twitter, even though I don't use Twitter anymore hardly anyway. So I'm actually thinking of getting rid of it altogether.
Yes, I use it a bit, but yeah, like it does seem weird. Like it does seem to be like I get that he can probably go, I can make money, and he got rid of a whole heap of people, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like I can kind of understand
Oh
that
yeah.
because worked in a lot of companies where they've done that, where they've like bought it, ripped everybody down, tried to run it the most efficient way they can, and
Mm-hmm.
then refloat it or do something with it, or he uses it probably to get more loans or whatever he's using it for to build spaceships or whatever random crap he's doing with it.
I
But
yeah. It's
but for whatever reason, I'm like, you've literally bought this social media thing to fix it, and you've just kind of done
I don't.
nothing.
Honestly, yeah. I've got a feeling that there will be a rival coming up for Twitter.
Was it
Whether it works or
thread
not is a different
for
matter.
this?
But I don't
Didn't
think.
they have that thread or whatever it is, the one that Facebook slash What was it?
Or
Facebook slash.
Threads. Or
Is it
something.
Threads?
I
Oh, I
think
thought it
it's
was Thread.
it might be. I don't know. I gotta say it's hard to remember all these ones. There's a new social media thing comes out every other week. I lose track, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
I don't get on most of them, but I thought Thread when it first happened, it seemed like it was going to be something that like could actually be better.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm just like, what the hell?
Mm. But yes, but so for me, it is a long weekend, ladies and gentlemen. This is Labour weekend. I'm enjoying myself
Which
profusely.
is why he's
I've
gonna
obviously been up
cry.
early 2 mornings in the row and gone to the pub to drink, to watch rugby and drink from 8 a.m. So that's
Which one was yesterday one? Oh, was that the one where that close match between Argentina and New Zealand?
right now. The funny thing is that the first half was good. The first half was actually quite good and it was very close and everything else. And I was talking to a couple of the poker lads were there, and we were all having a nut out during the half time, and it
Sorry, it's
was
fucking
it
amazing.
it.
Seriously, I don't
Oh,
know what it is. It's so weird. Like, so we've had like I think most of this week was between 25 and 29 degrees, and it's been nice. So I put my heater away, I grabbed the fan, and then the fan sat next to me. And it's been good because I've been doing some work. And now I need the heater, but I got the fan plugged in, and I've got to go back out and try to find the heater to put it back in because all of a sudden it's like raining and like 12 degrees.
oh
So I'm just
God.
like, I just had this massive
Well,
shiver going straight
well,
up my
I have to
back.
say thank you for sending the nice weather. It's nice having a nice weekend, sort of thing. In fact, today I've been we pulled out all the everything out of the garage today to then
Oh,
put it
nice.
back into the garage in proper, because literally when we moved in, we just dumped everything in the garage. It was like, right, we'll sort it out at some point, and then we've never had a nice weekend,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So
It always makes me laugh when people say that. They're like, I just took everything out to put it back in. Huh?
honestly, it's the quickest way of doing it, because the problem is that especially because we had like all that camp gear was scattered on over, because I've got 3 big shelving units, and
Yeah.
they're on different sides of the garage. So of course, like, oh yeah, the sleeping bags are on that one. Oh, but the chairs are all over on this one. So it was just like, right now, all the camping gear is on one rack. So if you need something from camping gear, you go to the one place and you know it's there. And if
Okay, that makes more sense.
so,
So
like,
you reorganized your garage. You didn't move everything out and move it all
oh
back.
no, we literally did move everything out. We literally took everything off the shelves and put it onto the driveway and then put it back in. So, and literally, you looked at it and it's like, oh my god, how much crap do we have? But then you put it back in and it's like, okay, well, actually, we don't have that much crap, and this crap that we
You
know
have
is
a lot
crap
of
is actually going into, because I'm hiring a skip, and we know, and that's going to go into the skip sort of thing. So we know we're fine.
Yeah, it's like we've got a lot of crap, and you're like, well, why do we have so much crap? And then you're like, but the crap kind of looks neat, so maybe it's not too much
Oh
crap.
no, there was some stuff there. I mean, to be fair, I have boxes and stuff. Like, I bought Elle one of them. She, because obviously when we were moving here, she wanted one of them cantilever like sunshades. Like, so it has an arm and you can extend it to how way you want it and stuff. It's
Oh,
it's but anyway, right? Basically, she wanted one because she's wanted one for ages, and when we were moving in, and I think I was at the warehouse end of last summer,
mm.
and they had them on sale for like $60, big size, like proper decent sizeage on it and stuff. But
It's just like a sunshade
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing that
basically like
you
a sunshade. Yeah, basically
put
it's
it
a
in the
massive,
ground, or
yeah.
is it?
No, it's got a big base, but you can peg it in if you wanted it, sort of thing, and stuff like
Oh,
that. But
okay.
it was basically like normally you have to buy these for like 120, $150. And the fact is, I found this one for 60. And it was like, yeah, buy one. I was like, yeah, because it was like last ofs of summer clearance sale at the warehouse sort of thing. So I just ended up grabbing one. So, but I was like,
Right.
I was about to put it back in. And I thought, actually, you know what? I'm just going to quickly build it, and then that's a box I don't have to deal with lugging around.
Yeah.
So I've just been doing that. I've assembled that. I've assembled the Weber barbecue stand as well. Like,
Jeez.
the mobile trolley one, because my barbecue broke, right, and I was actually going to wait till this weekend to buy a replacement. And then as we're
Hmm.
getting everything out, I was like, should I not just build? Obviously, we've got the little mini Weber for camping. Why don't I build
Hmm.
the trolley, and then we could just use that, and then we could just drag it round? And she's like, might as well. Screw it. I said, and then when my smoker finally goes to the big charcoal pit in the sky, I'll get that replaced, and I'll probably get like the smoker one with the gas burner ones as well, so I can have a nice big unit sort of thing
Yeah.
and do everything. Then is what I thought. So yes, so we've just been
What do I
cracking
look
on.
forward to
We've
when I
had a
get
very
house?
busy weekend, and we've still got stuff to do, sort of thing. Literally, when you messaged that you were free, I said to her, I said, "Oh, Des is free." She went, "Right, go," because all I was doing was helping getting the stuff, all the crap pile, back into the garage, so he's ready for
Yeah.
the skip. And she went, "No, you go in and send all the boys out," because Eddie's got his friends over. I said, "Send the boys out and they can help me." I went, "All right, no stress."
Why not put him to work and
Oh,
then
you gotta,
go get him an
you
ice cream?
gotta put them to
Cheap
work.
labor.
I
Cheap labor.
It is cheap
Well,
labor. It's fabulous. It's free.
weirdest thing. So when I was living in Yarraville with Megs, who's a friend of mine that I lived and worked with in the UK,
Mm.
and one of my old uni friends, Big J, moved in, and he's like, "I've got a whole heap of crap though," and I was like, "What do you mean by a whole heap of crap?" And he's like, "I've got half a dozen boxes." I'm like, "Well, weirdly, to get through to the garage, which was at the back of the house,
Mm.
the car had to be had to be as small as mine, but then the wind mirrors had to be in and you had to drive perfectly.
All
Like
right.
to the point either way you would have hit something. And even then when you went past the downpipe, you would almost have to scratch the side mirror against it. So we didn't use it. And I'm like, let's do that. Let's go in there. And I wasn't there, I was at work. I came back and he's pulling some boxes out of his car. I'm like, bro, can I give you a hand? So I grabbed 2 or 3 boxes and I go in there and the whole garage is full. I'm like, what is this shit? Like to the point where even now he has one of my friends. He's actually bought one of those little, those ones where you put the concrete base and then you build like a little shed.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
got one of those at a friend's house that he's filled. And I'm like, what is in this? And then one day I'm just like, bro, let's go through it. Let's find what the fuck it is. He had like stuff from like his grade 2 class. And I'm like, why you still got this? He's like, oh, I don't know. I just always kept it. I was like, you know what's worse? You failed this. I'm like, you have to spell 6 words and you failed. Throw that out. And we're going through, and this is where it just reminded me through. We were taking boxes out, emptying it, and then if they weren't full, putting them to the side, and then we were combining boxes.
Mm.
So we ended up getting rid of 48 boxes of
Wow.
stuff. That's how much it was. But
Jesus.
one thing that we found there was a rock.
Like,
There was nothing
what kind of rock?
special about
Like a
the rock.
gemstone rock?
It was literally just a rock. It was probably about this size, about the size of a coaster,
Yeah.
and it was just a rock. I was like,
Well,
who the just packs a rock? He's like, I don't even remember doing that. And then in another one, there were like random sticks. I'm like, bro, have you looked in any of these boxes? Have you just
you
moved
carted
it
them from house to
place?
house and you just keep accumulating them. Oh my god, that's bad.
And I was like, what the hell? So we end up getting rid of like 48 boxes. And the best thing was we had hard rubbish, so we were like, fantastic. And they're like, it has to be like 2 meters by 2 meters or whatever it was, and it had to fit on your nature strip. So we managed to do that. But the funny thing is it was probably about 6 foot tall because we were putting these boxes up, but it stayed in the. So we actually had this mat. So you get you had to get this piece of plastic, and what you did is it had to fit into that box, and anything that didn't fit into that box, you could get in. And then throughout the weeks coming, people would go and they'd look in your hard rubbish and collect stuff. Some of the old guys would get some of the metal
Yeah.
and recycle that. But we got this thing, but it went perfectly up about 6.5 feet. And it was just full of boxes. It was just all Big J stuff. And a couple of dudes, once you saw them go through some of the stuff. And I still remember looking outside. I was talking to Big J and I'm like, oh, bro, somebody's going through your boxes. And he takes down this box, he opens it, he just does this. And looks at his mate, and then he reaches in and he pulls out some sticks, and he's like, "What the?" And then he closed the box. He just put it on top, and then after that, nobody ever looked in our boxes. It was amazing. But this is what I'm picturing in my head of you doing, like just pulling out
Oh,
random stuff.
no, listen, I used to be really bad. Because of course, I used to be, my dad used to call me the man in the suitcase sort of thing because I moved from house to house all the time, especially when I was younger. So I literally said, but when we were moving from our rental, obviously, when we were moving from England to New Zealand,
Yeah,
that forced us to get literally evaluate everything because we were like, right, we've got 3/4 of a container. We can't fit everything we have that we currently have into this container, so we need to get rid of anything that is it's sentimental. It's coming great. If it has some form of special meaning, great. But we are cutting the crap, especially with like electronics, like mostly electronics. I was like, well, I don't want to go buy bloody cables. I said I might as well sell it. I'll sell this
Say that.
stuff, and then I'll buy. If I end up needing, I'll go buy a new one or whatever sort of thing.
Well, I did that the other day where I was just cleaning up some stuff and throwing some stuff out, and I found my old iPod,
Mm.
but it was full and had a whole heap of music on it. I'm like, I still love half of that music, so I'm going to get it and do it. And of course, I didn't have the cable because I threw it out. I went on Amazon, and I think it was like $4.90,
Mm.
and it was here the next day. And I'm like, easy, plug that in, got it, threw it out with the iPad,
Yeah.
with the iPod. I'm like, I get that, but then I look around and I'm like, everything seems to have a micro USB or a USB-C cable. Like right now, I reckon if you just gave me 5 minutes, I could probably find a handful of ones. Like here's cables that are literally just sitting on the side of just the side
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got a box of cables. I've got a box of cables because everything is either in this house is either the D shape or a C shape. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
D-shape or a C.
But it may be. But you get like the weird. Like I get a weird charger. Like obviously I've got a weird charger for my my smartwatch. That's a magnetic one and stuff like that. But it's just like some of the stuff is just like the amount of it's the same old cable. It's like God forbid. But it's hilarious how you can't ever find that cable when you need it.
Well,
It's like right, I'll go into the box and it's like, why is there no D? Where's the no more D-shaped ones? It's like we've got 50 items in this house that all use this cable. They are not all in use. Where are the cables?
I know they've got to be somewhere for Christ's sake.
Oh.
But it is funny how we do that. How as people are like, oh, I'll just save this. The other day, I went through my Samsung. I think it was one of my Samsung ones, and because I found the boxes, I'm like, oh, they've still got the old phones in there. I'm going to recycle them. That's fine. And I'm just like, I'll just throw out the cardboard, but it's got like a little plastic insert in it. I've pulled one of them out. It's got a charger and a cable in there. I didn't even know about it. I found 2 sets of headphones in my old Samsung boxes because I haven't looked at them. I'm like, if they're really that important, I'm like, and then I was like, do I keep these? And I thought to myself, I'm like, if they're really that important, wouldn't I have already used them?
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh no. It is no, but yeah. So when we were moving, we did a massive cull, and then it was funny because obviously we had to wait for our container. I think it took what was it? Our container landed 2 months after we got here. But so we ended up obviously landing and then going to like warehouse and getting some essential bits. And then obviously we moved into our rental and we still needed so we got a couple more essential bits, knowing full well the container was going to turn up in a month. But we're like, but we need these bits now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
We'll just have some double ups. It's fine, no stress. But yeah, it was. Yeah, suddenly we just get, and then all our stuff arrived, and we're like, right, well, we can't get everything out. So that was actually we unpacked most. I would say about 3/4 of all the boxes that we transported over because literally there was no more room in the house for anything. So it was like, right, well, these ones obviously we went through them quickly to see what they were, and we're like, yep, these can stay in here. Like all my Warhammer stuff, I was like, yep. I'm not planning, unless I get into it, I said I will come and get bits and bobs I need, but I'm not getting out everything. I do not need everything out. So I just left it until we moved here, and then it's like, right, I'm going to go through and sort this. And I did, and I went through and sorted out a load of stuff. And I've got a box, I've got a box here just in my office that's all stuff that I put up on Trade Me. So I wait every month Trade Me, which is like our eBay here. They do Saturday free, no commission on selling, so you can sell your stuff and they won't take a profit. They won't take the.
You can also sell things for like $10, so you don't have to make a profit on it.
Yeah. So basically, all I do is I wait every Saturday that crops up. It's like, oh, it's free sale day, right? And I jump on. I relist all the items that didn't sell last time, and then I upload like 2 or 3 more things and just stick them on because it's quicker. And it's just about the amount of stuff I've had to force myself to sell. In fact, the worst thing I used to be really bad at is I used to keep boxes. Like I buy like for example my Robot Rock vac, my robot vac. We've still got the box, but it's because I haven't got a skip to get rid of it. And then he says, "You're not keeping these boxes, are you?" And no, I'm waiting for the skip. So when the skip comes up, it's gone. But I
He
used,
says that party people, and then it's just going to be like, oh
but
yeah.
I used to be so bad. I used to keep boxes for no reason, and then of course whatever I was using would break, and I get rid of it. But I'd still have the box. It's like, why have I still got the box? So yeah,
My phone boxes are probably the only boxes that I normally keep.
yeah,
The only other ones that I sometimes keep is some of my tech boxes, for my keyboards and stuff. But even and that's normally if I know that, like say for example, my old keyboard I had for about 4 years. But at times I'd have different review units. I'd have to put it away and then I'd bring it back.
yeah.
And that was the time where I'd kind of keep them. But even then, like the ones that I'm using now, I've already got rid of because I'm just like I'm just going to keep this until they die. And then if I have to, I'll put them somewhere. Like I'm sure I can find something somewhere, and I'll just throw it there for now. But yeah, it is weird the random shit you keep. Like Cherish calls me a hoarder, which I laugh at because I'm like my bedroom's got some stuff, and I've got some stuff here. But to be fair, most of the stuff here is stuff that I kind of get sent, and every time
Yeah.
I put it away or get rid of it or do something, it comes back.
You know,
Like,
I'll admit I'm a bit of a hoarder in certain things. Like I have to force myself to throw stuff away, because I'm like, oh, I'll use that. Oh, but it's like random bits of shit for no reason. It's like, oh, I might use it. It's like, when am I ever going to use it? When? It's like,
I've got a big bottle of water. I'm just going to keep this just in case I need it to fill up my car windscreen wipers. You're like,
yeah. Oh, honestly, I am that guy. I am that guy. I have to, but I am better than I was. Like literally, I would say about 10 years ago, I was really bad. Like I used to keep stuff for no fucking reason, sort of thing. But I blame it on my upbringing of being dragged around from house to house and not having stable upbringing.
I love it. I love it.
We decided to watch obviously a documentary this week. The Netflix documentary for Beckham, all about David Beckham and his rise to stardom and all that jazz. And oh my god, I'm loving it. Obviously, because I am not a big football person for a start off.
Yeah.
My family, especially on my dad's side, they're all football crazy. But of course, the rise of David Beckham happened when I was sort of a young teen and going in that teenage phase.
Yeah.
So it's just it's amazing how I was like, oh, that's Paul Ince, and then obviously it comes up saying who this person is, and I was like, how do you know this? I said, I think it's just ingrained. I think it's from from all the like being at the pub with my dad, watching matches and stuff like that. I think it's ingrained in the back of my brain.
Well, the thing though, when I lived in London, Beckham was still at the time with Man U, and as somebody that was kind of a Man U fan, mainly because I think it was like American football. So here we didn't get every game. It wasn't like one of those ones where you got every game. So you got like a game of the week or something like that. So obviously Dallas Cowboys, Manchester United at the time in the 80s and 90s and stuff, they were the bigger teams. So we got to watch a lot of those games, which is the main reason why I watched them was because I love the sport. I love the idea of it. And that's why when people ask me, well, you're a Man U fan. And why is everyone a Man U fan that's international? And that's probably why. Because now with streaming services and stuff, like I could go on right now and start watching sports.
It's really funny because like we watched so me and Ellie, we've watched the first 2 episodes and we watched them back to back because like we watched the first one and we were enjoying it and then it ended and we're like, said, I'm just going to quickly press play next. And she went, oh yeah, absolutely. And I was like, oh, good. We're on the same page. So, because I think there's only 4 episodes and we've got the other 2 to watch and we said we're going to watch them probably tonight.
And I think it's good though. But like, I mean, I know I saw a couple of clips on like Instagram Reels or something where he's like, where Posh is like, I come from a working class family. And he puts his head in, he's like, bullshit.
Goes, bullshit. What car did you drive? What car did your dad drive to drop you off at school? That's not the point. No.
What car was it? It was a Rolls Royce. You're like,
yeah, it was an old beaten up Rolls Royce, is what she said. But yeah, it is. But no, it was really good. I mean, one thing I'm loving about it is that it highlights certain things. Like it talks about like obviously like back in the day when he scored his that big the kick as it's known as, you know. Back then, there was no social media. There was nothing. It was you'd hear about it on the radio or on the news, and then people like people are
or
like,
something.
Christ, I've got to tune into Match of the Day. I need to see what's going on here, sort of thing. So you tune into Match of the Day at like 10:30 at night, and they'd have all the sports pundits explaining everything to you, and it's just like, wow. But yeah, they were talking about all the, about especially his spending habits, about buying new cars and all this jazz. Apparently, he would like get paid on the Friday, and he'd have it spent by the Saturday. And then he'd have to wait 5 days to get paid again, sort of thing. And he was,
I just can't get over having that kind of money,
mm.
because the money he was on, though he's on probably it's probably more ridiculous now. Back then, he was like a god. Like he could literally buy anything, and the money he was astronomical. And somehow to be able to spend it in a day, you're like, how?
I mean, don't get me right. I've always said, right, like, because when obviously the lotto, we always play the lotto every now and again, and when it's like, especially when it's getting up to stupid numbers, you're just like, oh, screw it. What have I got to lose? I'll throw in my $20 this week. Screw it. But
Yeah,
we've always kind of said is that if I won like one of these stupid jackpots, it's like, you're talking 50 odd million, and if I somehow got it, I'd be like, right, you know what, I'd go mad, and I'd probably go mad for about 3 months, I reckon, because then, but I'd get it out of my system. I would have been like, oh well, I've gone on a holiday, I've done this, I've done, I'd probably have a list of things I would do, and then I'm like, right, I've still got all this money. What do you do? And then it's like, right, okay, right, now I need to think about trust funds and blah 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 and this, and I want to help out matey boy because well, we've been friends since kids, and he's struggling at the moment, or I'll help her out, and I'd do all that, but even then you just know that he's going to be still sat on a pile of money still.
in my head, I would literally pay for a house, probably get a new car because my car's about 10, 11 years old now. And then and then I'd probably go on an extended holiday. And then after that, I'm like, but I would, as I said, I'd probably blow the first mill.
Oh
And then
yeah.
after that, I'm like, I don't actually know what I would do then. Like after the house is paid off, a new car, and then going on a decent holiday, I'm like, there's nothing really more I want other than if I decide to not work and
Oh
like do
yeah,
content
that's the
time
thing.
or
I've always said to Elle that if we were to ever like win a stupid amount of money, once obviously I've got one, I'm not. I would the only person I would be telling is her. Number one, she's the only one I'm telling, because I already have. I've read too many Reddit stories about people who've gotten a load of money, then suddenly everyone comes out of the woodwork and wants to meet you. So it's like,
yeah.
nah. So immediately, she's the only one I'm telling, and then beyond that, it's like helping out some friends here and there, but we'll do it subtly as we can, sort of thing. It's.
Yeah.
But
Or even then, they're like, ask somebody like, "Oh, listen, bro, I know," or saying something like, how much have you got left on your house? Or how much was this?" And then you go, "Okay, cool," and then you'll be like, and then give them a bank check and like, but just don't tell anybody. But like, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't get it like that. Like I said that like I would obviously help out friends and stuff like that, but like,
But I certainly wouldn't be quitting work. No. I already know what would happen. I would be like, yes, I never have to work again. And then my brain would, after about a couple of, it'd have a good time for a couple of weeks, and then it'd be like, right, I'm bored now. I need to go to work. I need to go do something.
yeah, that's the thing. That's what I said. That's what I said. I'm like, I would need to either go to work. I would need to either do content full time or something like that, or something like there need to be something to fill my days. Like I couldn't just sit around and be like,
Oh
because
no,
then
I
you
mean,
just meaninglessly spend and oh god, it would be horrible.
but yeah, but certainly a new car wouldn't be bad. Although I would. Although I already know what car I'd want. I want to buy myself an American muscle car just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
It would be most impractical thing known to man, but it'd be like, yeah, screw it, let's go.
How much does it cost to fill up? $38 per liter.
Per litre, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You already know those gas guzzlers, man.
Rocket fuel or something like that. Like I'm just going to nick down to Coles. Can we afford it this month? Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll just walk.
I have to walk it this week. I have to walk it this week, babes. No, God forbid. No, yeah, but yeah, obviously I'll get the house. Obviously, you sort yourself out first. This is the thing. I always find it weird when I read these Reddit stories and it's like, oh well, I had to help out so and so and this, and it's like, no. Start at home first. You thought you sort of your gear first before even thinking about helping anyone.
Well, they go on massive benders where they're like, I spent $600,000 on blow. I'm like,
Why?
How? Why? Like, I guess you want to party a little bit and
I mean,
blow off some
don't
steam.
get me wrong. Would I host a nice big party for some random reason, and and
Yeah,
have plenty of stuff on the go? Have good food, lots of alcohol. I'd have that.
yeah.
But certainly, why am I going to waste it all that crap, man? God forbid.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, to be fair, if you ever did come over here, I would at least make you get the first round if you won lottery. It's only fair.
Oh, really? Really? You make me get? Yeah,
First round.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm always happy to get the first round. You know
Yeah.
that.
Well, because if you have to, I'll drink. Why not? But it is
Oh,
weird because you hear about these people. Like, when I lived in the UK, this guy won it, and he was like he was this big thing, and then he was at like parties and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, after like maybe 3 months at most, disappeared.
mm,
And I'm like, maybe he's had some fun, he's blown off some steam, he stopped being a twat, and now he's
yeah.
done it. And then you see him, I think it was like 2 months later on Channel 4, and they were interviewing him, and he'd blown it all. I'm like, it was like £25,000 or something, 25 million pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you blow that on?
Oh,
Like, even if you go get a Bugatti and you go to get a house, and like, but how do you blow that much money but then have nothing tangible to show for it?
I mean,
And it
that's
actually,
that's the funny thing. I find it hilarious when these people they're like, they say it's a bog standard two, husband, wife, and two kids, and
hmm,
suddenly they've gone and bought a 16-bedroom mansion, and it's
yeah,
like, why? I mean, don't get me wrong. Fine, you want to go buy yourself a house, absolutely, but
yeah,
why do you need this mass off mansion? Why?
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Go get yourself, maybe a 5-bedder or something like, maybe a 5-bed, so you can have people come. Maybe it's got a games room or what, all that stuff. But when it's like these ridiculous estates, and everybody
yeah.
knows that estates don't make money, they just all they do is eat money. That's all an estate will ever do. Sort of
True
thing.
though. You think about like doing silly things like just cleaning it. Like you would literally go from one end of the house to the other, like from Monday to Sunday, and then you'd have to start back again because everything would be dusty and
Well, it's
gross.
it's like it's like when we were building this, right, and we got the aircon system put in. They said, right, you got two options: either A, you go with heat pumps in every room, so that's a lot of individual remotes,
Yeah,
and also individual bloody systems outside. That's a lot of
yeah,
And I was like, nah. I said I want a duct system, and literally the difference between me getting the manual open and closing one and
yeah.
the automated system that has a keypad so you can turn the rooms off individually was $500, and I'm like, absolutely, I will
I'm
pay
gonna
five
treat
hundred bucks.
myself.
It's a bit bougie, it's a bit of an expense, but you know what? For $500, I'm not. Yeah, I don't have to be up a ladder flicking bloody vents open. So, I say it just made so much sense. It was so funny, but
One
like,
thing for anybody out there that hasn't bought a house, obviously there's little extras and stuff you bought, and I think Jordan, you went to an architect, didn't you, and got it made, or
no,
did you go?
we went to. So we bought the section. We bought section, aka the parcel of land.
Yeah,
So we
which is what
bought
I.
that. We bought that outright, sort of thing, and then we went round different companies to get the
Yeah,
house built, sort of thing. Luckily, though, all the companies we chose, the previous owner of the land, who her son was gonna build here, he went and contacted the same ones. So they were all very confused when we turned up because, like, no, you're not David. They said, you're not David, and it's like, yeah, no, we own the land now. And it's like, oh, well, this is the design David was going for. So they showed us all these designs because obviously he's already done all the legwork. It was great, sort of thing.
I
So we turned up and every company either had one or two designs for the plot, and it was like fab, awesome, great. So I think,
exactly what you want. But that's the weirdest thing. So you go there, and there's certain things that I don't know about you, but when I went there, the builder that I went had like 7 different upgrade packs,
mm,
and I was like, cool. And you look at them, and like some of them, like I ended up buying all of them, which sounds like they weren't expensive, and I had some credit for certain things. But like it was like one thing that I really wanted was, say for example, like stone and bench tops
mm-hmm.
was actually an upgrade. But then with that upgrade, you also got a bigger stove, a bigger oven, bigger range hood. And then one of them was like, if you get this, it also gets you these 5 things. And I don't understand how it works because when I asked how much would it be just for the stone bench tops, and it worked out to being like $100 less or like $150 less.
Mm.
And I'm just like, things like that are easy. Like I was also looking at, I think I've ended up buying curtains for the entire house when it's built. And one thing people were saying, like, I could have shopped around and stuff, but sometimes I'm like, it's just easy. And
Yeah,
it only cost us like $1,500 extra for blinds throughout. And I'm like,
yeah.
it just seems like,
Honestly, because obviously our build didn't come with blinds, but they said, look, we got a local guy. There's a local company that we use. If you want us to get in touch, I went, yep, yep, send them along. So he came along. We did all the thing and everything else, and we didn't hit. So it got put as part of the build. So we already were paying for it, and it was like, great. So it wasn't anything extra. Well, technically
yeah,
it was an extra, but the way it works out. But it wasn't like, oh,
yeah,
I have to pay them separately. Here's the money, sort of thing.
yeah,
And literally, we didn't hear from them at all. We made all the selections and did everything else. And of course, we were going to the build. So what the last 2 months of the build, we were like there every other day at least, sort of, because obviously we were dropping Edward off at school and everything else, and it was just like, oh, I'll swing by, and we'd meet up with the project manager and you'd see everything, and it was fine. And literally the week before we moved in, the blind person turned up and then fitted everything, and we just waltzed in, and it was so good. It was like, because obviously whenever every other house that me and Elle have owned or we've moved into, we've had to
yeah,
reno, and the first thing we've always had to do is put up blinds or put up
yeah.
curtains. And I'll tell you now, it's an absolute ball ache. It's an absolute ball. It's honest to God, I can't stand it. I hate it. Because either you get something that's not the right size, even though you've measured it 4 times and you bought the right one at the store, but apparently you've picked up the wrong goddamn packet, and you haven't noticed until you've got it all unpacked and everything else. So then you're like, right, how can I make this work? And then so you try to jerry rig it. Or you do it the other way around, which is just an absolute ball ache, and it's just like, yeah, it just doesn't look good at all. And it's
Well, the
like,
weirdest
but it'll
thing is,
do. It does. It'll do.
obviously I work for a company now that we
Mm.
produce aged care facilities, and we actually met with this company because we were looking at our curtains are currently handled by our sister company over in NZ.
Mm.
So we were like, okay, cool. And we met with them, and the guys are like, okay, like we said to them, we're like, okay, we haven't had anything to do with curtains or drapes. We don't know anything about it. What can you offer us? Or what can we do?
Mm.
And he's like, pretty much what would happen is the architects would send us the plans. We'd go off the plans, get them manufactured, and as long as the plans are correct,
Yeah.
they would get done. And we're like, what? Don't you have to measure? They're like, no, no, we just go off the plans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And they did and so we ordered them for just a test for this one part of the village. And yeah, we heard nothing from them, nothing from them. We let them know that, oh, it's getting installed on this day. And they went, yep, not a problem. Nothing. Supposedly they came in, they did it, and we're like, and the builders were like, yeah, they came in, they did it all. They went out, cleaned all the rubbish, nothing. And I'm like, these guys could become one of our major suppliers to the point where blinds and drapes cost us a small fortune. And they literally just got the plans and went, yeah, cool, plugged it into their computer, threw it
Yeah.
to China, got it produced, and then just bolted them
Oh,
in like half a second. And then ever since then, I'm like, I'm just getting blinds included because that's just too easy.
honestly, yeah, it's an absolute no brainer. I mean, God forbid. I mean, our guy went off the drawings and the plans, but he says, what I do is the 2 weeks before manufacture, I go to site and triple check and make so which pretty much is him turning up, and literally, I think he only checks half of them, which is like, yep, no, this is all good, cracks on, knowing
What's
that nothing has changed, sort of thing. It was great turning up, and then suddenly, oh, there's all these blinds, and to be fair, they're all perfectly fitted, or they're a drip, because he said, oh, do you want blackout on any of them? We went, all of them. He said, why do you want blackout on all of them? I said, we want blackout on all of them. He said, just it's easier rather than just having piecemeal ones. Then so it was just like, yeah. So when everything's when we shut up at night, even like if you wake up at 6 in the morning, like this morning, obviously because now in New Zealand, down this end of the world, we're starting to get lighter mornings,
yeah,
and I can walk like down the corridor, and obviously I can see the sun is starting to poke out, and it's starting to get really bright. But you walk into the living room, and it's like complete blackness. It's
yeah.
dark. It's completely black out, and it's like, yes, this is great. It's
But
so good.
because that's what they said. I'm like, I just want blackout blinds on everything. And they're like,
Yeah.
why? I'm like, just because. They're like, it's going to be pretty dark when you've got them all down. I'm like, that's the whole point.
That's the whole
Like,
point. Yeah.
I
No,
my cousin
we got
is
it
I hate dark.
specifically because Ellie might occasionally have to work a night
Oh,
shift.
of course. Yeah,
And the one thing is she's always very much struggled. If it is daytime, if the sun is streaming in, it's really hard to go to sleep. And to be fair, I agree. But now in this house, we don't have to worry about that. It's so good.
dreams are meant to. It is weird though because I did, like until you've done this, I didn't realize just how much work went into the house, and it just seems bizarre. And yeah, I'm actually excited to move all my stuff in. I'm excited to go through stuff, and I'm excited weirdly just to find homes for stuff
Mm.
because quite often there's been things that have either sat in boxes or like I haven't really been able to do, or I've had to take them out and unpack them and then repack them and stuff like that. And I'm just looking forward to having a place for everything. And I feel like,
Oh,
and I'm like, that's so
honestly
sad.
though, don't expect it
That's
to be
all I
done
want.
immediately. Because, like, for example, like we still haven't done, we still haven't put up all the pictures yet. That was going to be a job this weekend where we were going to get them all unpacked.
You've got 'em-
So,
you got till tomorrow. Come on,
yeah, but I
chop
might be going
chop.
up to Auckland now. That sort of thing. I might be going up to see my mother. That sort of thing. So I about to say I might not have time this weekend. So
Likely
and
excuse. Likely
the
excuse.
next
Ellie,
public
make it work.
holiday is Christmas. So it'll it is going to be piecemeal, absolute piecemeal when we
Mhm.
get that done. But to be fair, it's like we because it was really funny moving from place to place because we brought loads of furniture with us, and
Yeah,
we're like, and he's like, do we need to go buy anything? I said, listen, let's just get everything into the house first, and then
yeah.
we can discuss. But it was really funny how like most of our furniture was okay, apart from we didn't have anything for the media room to store all the like the DVDs, the board games, everything else. And then I was in where was I at? I was at warehouse. Yeah, I was at the big warehouse in Hamilton, and I literally, when you're just walking through the store. You're not even looking for stuff
And you're not
specifically.
paying attention or anything.
You're
You're
not
just
paying
kind of like,
attention. But literally, I walked past this unit, and I was like, "Ooh," because it's all different weird
I
shaped
want that
shelves.
one.
It is no, but it's all different weird shapes. It's been designed purely for board games and knickknacks and all this jazz. And I had a look at it, and I was like, "I quite like that." So that will
Hmm.
go quite well, sort of thing. So I bought one and brought it back, and I built it, and I was like, "Oh, that's quite nice." I was like, "I know," and she was like, "Do you think we could get away with having another?" And I said, "I think we can get away with having another two, actually." And she's like,
This is
"Yeah,
why
go
I
get
love
another
your
two."
life.
So literally, like the next 2 days, I ended up going and buying another two, and literally, it was amazing. I knew how to build it very quickly. The first one took a while, but the second and third one just whipped
Oh
up.
man,
So I think
this is why I love Elle so much. She's just like, I like nerding out. Let's get another
it
one.
was
I'm
no.
like,
It just it makes it literally like it's gone against like the media because originally what we wanted to do with the room is we wanted to like, but of course we don't have IKEA. This is the worst bit. If we had IKEA, we already would have done it, which was the Billy bookshelf, is it's known as. Every household in the UK has one. It's a Billy bookshelf from IKEA. It's very massively tall, like
yeah,
generally pretty much gets damn near up to these top of the arse ceilings here. And you'd have that, and we wanted to like cover the entire wall, so you'd have about maybe about
proud.
4 of them all the way down, and that's what we were gonna do. But of course, we can't get anything like that in New Zealand because we don't have IKEA yet.
That seems
Give me
weird,
IKEA.
Because we've got IKEA here, and we keep getting a few. You're like, it can't be that hard to just throw it over the pond.
Oh,
Like,
you see, you think it would be easy, but apparently it's mainly shipping, and of course, IKEA would have to. Well, now that where I work at, they'd have to conform to the wood. It's the wood. What is it? The Forestry Service Commission or something. It's about basically guaranteeing that the wood's good, and
yeah,
the fact that it's going to be pest free and all this jazz. Now, given the fact, obviously, that I don't know where IKEA make all their furniture. Obviously, I'm assuming they do not make them in Sweden.
Sweden. Yeah,
Yeah, I know the plans are made in Sweden, but manufacturing wise,
yeah, no, it'll be made in Malaysia
it'll
or
be made
Liverpool.
somewhere like that. And so, yeah, there will be a thing of, well, how can you guarantee it? Which
Well,
is
that's
totally
weird
understandable.
because Australia's rules and regulations are insane.
Mm.
Yet for some reason, like they're like, oh, they're fine. I'm like, that
This is the
doesn't make
one thing I've always found weird being, like, no offense, because obviously, like, being Aussie and New Zealand, Kiwi, you're both neighbours. You're both great. You know, you barely what 4 hour flight. That's what
Yeah,
that's what like a
yeah,
12 hour boat trip, something like that. God knows.
yeah.
God
It
knows
doesn't seem like
whatever
that
exactly.
fun.
Why are your systems so drastically different from each other? It's like, oh,
Well,
well, they're doing this. Oh, well, we go a bit one better, or we do this. It's like it's not a general. Oh, well, if you meet this standard, you're good for this way. You're good for Australia. Oh
yeah,
no,
I
no,
know.
no. Oh no, no. They're gonna do this extra. Why? Why? Why does it need to be? It's
It's
like,
100% accurate because we had so um, one of the companies that we work for, they've just signed off on this new production of this thingo, and they've signed an exclusive deal with New Zealand and Australia.
hmm,
But when we got the contract, we had a look through it. We got our specialist to test it, and they went, "This is illegal here. Like you wouldn't be able to get this pie. This doesn't hit our aged care and our living thingos. So we actually can't use it. So the problem is if we want to go out and buy something else, technically we're going against an exclusive contact, and this they can
yeah,
sue us in theory.
yeah,
But luckily, thank the gods, this company's actually been really good and went, we didn't know that. Let's see if we can find something else. So we've given them an option to find something that
hmm,
will actually hit the criteria here. But I'm like, you've just signed an exclusive deal for something that we can't get and now stops us from buying this
yeah.
whole range of things
I,
because you've signed an exclusive deal.
yeah, it's mind boggling. It really. It's like, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you were direct neighbors, like landlocked together, that would
Yeah.
be interesting. If you would still have the same approach, but it's just
I
like
know. It is.
it just cracks me up when it's like, it's just like for anything like God forbid when I ever had to travel through Australia, it's like, oh no, you can't bring alcohol through from duty free. Why? Because it's been made abroad. It's like most alcohol is. It's like, but
And
it
not
was
to mention, you go through our duty free and it's got like tequila straight from Mexico.
yeah.
Here, imported from here. You're like,
But it was like
what?
because yeah, so that was the first ever time I went to New Zealand. I landed at Sydney, and they took my duty free off me because obviously when I was buying it at Heathrow, they said, "Oh, what's your route?" And I gave them the route. There was no things, but apparently a law got passed like a couple of days before, and it was still no thing. And so they took my alcohol off me because I bought alcohol for my mum.
Oh
Just as
God,
a
man.
thank you for as a
Traditional
thank you for
alcohol.
hosting this upcoming 2 weeks of me. Thank you very much, mum. But yeah,
Yeah.
they took that off me, and I was livid. But I managed to get them to give me the receipt so I could get refunded, which got all done. And sort of the duty free spot Heathrow said, "Yeah, no, totally understand. Here's a full refund straight up." Sort of thing. I was like, "Great." Fab."
It is
But
insane, and
but I
that's
said I
why you.
literally said to them, I said, "What do you do with the alcohol?" Curiously, obviously she was giving me, she cut into the thing and gave me a receipt. I said, "Oh, we just put it into the bin." And literally, I saw her. She dropped it, and you could hear him smashing all this. And I thought, oh my god, this is such a waste, such a waste.
Consi- Considering that that same bottle is probably on the shelf, not 20 feet away.
Huh?
Like you could probably go and get a
It wasn't like
refund.
I bought like anything. I think I
Well,
bought a bottle of Grey Goose vodka for my mother, and I think a bottle of normal Jack Daniels for myself. While I was going to be there for a couple of weeks.
for somebody else.
What?
For somebody else, not me, of course. The Jack Daniels. It's like, oh, that's just in case I bought this. It wasn't not for
Oh, the,
me. I
the
promise.
fact is, I remember seeing someone at the line. She was really angry about this. This lady, she was
Yeah.
really livid. I think it was a bottle of brandy. Or it was something. She said, "Am I allowed to open it now before you take it off me?" And she went, "Yes." Why? And so she took and she nicked about a quarter of the bottle. And I'm like, "Damn." Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I want to stick it to them as well, but I mean, I'm not that stupid. I know I have to catch a connecting flight, and if I turn up pissed, they're not going to let me on. So,
Yeah.
but
But it
yeah,
is weird though, because there are rules like that. Like I know there's a comedian, I think it's Danny Boy. He was saying that he had like this much of his perfume left, but because the bottle could technically hold more than 100 mils, which you can't fly with,
yep.
he kind of went, well, screw it. So he went, okay, well then I'm going to use it before you throw it out, and literally he just sprayed himself with it. And he's like, I was thinking there's this much, there's 4 or 5 things. There was about 70. And I just kept going until it ran out. And then I handed it to him. And he's like, and my nose, and the poor people that have sat next to me, I apologize for, but I stuck it to the man. And he goes, and then after that, I did have to go to the doctors because he had some issues with he had some nasal infection he got from the like all the alcohol and stuff coming from
Yeah,
being puke.
no, God
I'm
forbid
like,
it would be.
oh my god.
It is amazing. So I mean, yeah, the rules and regs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand rules and regs are there for reasons, but at the same time, it's like used to it next door neighbors. I mean,
But
God
even
forbid.
even the alcohol thing, you're just like, you do realize that I could get the receipt, go through, get a refund, and then go to the
That's the
actual
thing. Is that I said when
thing
I said I
and
just want to
buy.
get the receipt, and she went, "Why?" I went, "So I can get a refund." It's like I'd asked the most stupid question of her shift when I said, "Oh, I would like my receipt, please." Why? Because I just fancy having paper in my pocket. Why else do you think I want my receipt? God forbid.
I want to rub it on my nipples and sleep on it. Like, what
It
does
was,
it matter? I just
it was just like, yeah, she was just like, oh, I suppose I can give it to you.
especially things
Like,
like that. Like, I mean, when I got back from Africa, they obviously asked us, "Did you have any wood? Have you been
mm,
into any like areas where they have cattle or wild stock or something like that?"
mm.
And I'm like, "That I understand because there's bacteria." But a bottle of Grey Goose that I've got from the airport and then just bought with me, I guarantee, and it's unopened, unsealed. Like, you already import this stuff. Like, it's like
It's,
it just dumbfounds
one
me.
thing I find weird, and I don't, I wish, I understand that some airports do this, right? Because obviously duty free, I understand that the duty free is franchises mainly, but they all
Mm,
report to like generally the same umbrella company,
yeah.
whatever it is. Is why don't they have? I know some airports do this. Is that I wish I was able to do this, but it should be worldwide and it should be logical. The fact is that I walk into duty free at Heathrow, I want to buy a bottle of Jack Daniels. Okay, they say, right, great. Where's your final destination? Oh, it's X. Right, great. They put it through the system. There'll be a bottle of Jack Daniels that you pick up at X once you've been
Do you know
through
who
everything
does
else,
that?
and then bam, done. Great. You don't have to look it on the plane. You don't have to do all that nonsense. It's just like because obviously the amount of times that I mean they obviously say it nowadays. It's really funny nowadays. Like we noticed on the flight back is because obviously I've always put duty free up in the overhead basket or the
Yeah.
overhead locker, but no, apparently you're not allowed to anymore because apparently it can get damaged. He's like, well, yeah, of course it can. Everybody's aware of that.
No offense, I've seen you throw away my bags. Like, what are you worried about things getting damaged?
Yeah, but God forbid, it was one of those things of But so now it's encouraged that you put it in underneath the thing in front of your seat. So all we did was we did that, and then the second obviously we're up in the air, we just moved them aside and we stuck them between like each other's legs, sort of thing. So
I
it
must,
was on
I
either
must
side.
there has been a few that I've seen where I can buy it and I can pick it up when I get there. Especially, I've noticed certain
It's
places like
generally
when you
at the
go into
big airports, like bigger airports.
yeah,
But
and also
obviously,
when
if
you're
I'm
going
gonna land
to
it,
Muslim countries as well,
if I'm
because
gonna
they don't
land, I
have
don't know if you're gonna land in, I don't know, uh,
Timbuktu. So it's fun to
wherever in
say.
Thailand, because obviously you're not going to land wherever specifically. You're going to end up somewhere else. They don't have that. I mean, in fact, I remember the first time we did our big family holiday. My mum
Mm.
wanted to instigate this thing of a big family holiday, and she's picked. Oh, so we said Thailand because obviously it's halfway between New Zealand and the UK, and we're like, yep, great, fine, yeah. And she said, all right, I've booked the resort. It's in Koh Samui, and I was like, no idea where that is. Had a look, we found, so yeah, you land at Bangkok and then you got to transfer and then do all that. Great, fine.
Yeah.
And literally you land and you're like, well, because you look at all the thing and it's it's a really well known area and all this. Just oh, so it must have a fancy airport. No, you land. It was on a propeller plane when on the transfer. We landed. They picked us up in this. It was like a golf cart sort of train thing. And I
Like
literally
what they
I
have in the
cracked off
Universal Studios and
and
stuff.
yeah, and I cracked off the joke to because my sister and Elle were on obviously Elle was on the flight with me and my sister she managed to be on the same flight, and it
Mm.
was just like great. Well, it's good to know that we're going to turn up to Koh Samui, Whitewater, and theme park sort of national. And literally, as they take us on the journey, they then dropped us in the main terminal, which is all open and it has like a straw hut thing. And I'm like, oh my god, I was meaning this as a joke. What the hell is this?
They've
And
actually taken me to a tiki bar, like
it did. It
100%.
was like a tiki bar, and then we And then we stood there waiting at the carousel. And then suddenly it's like I realised, I was like, hang on, that's the tarmac. And then you saw them pull up and they have this little hatch still, and it's like, why is the hatch there? I can see them. It's like, what the hell?
Jesus Christ.
So they started
But
on
it
the
is
carousel.
funny though, because there are some airports that you go to and you're just like I've gone through New York. I remember going through New York in it was about November after September 11th, and the guys would literally turn out your entire bag onto the thingo, and then pretty much be go, and now hurry up. And then we flew from there into Burlington Airport into Vermont, and you walk out and you kind of, it was just weird. Like you land the plane, you wouldn't walk out mainly, and the only reason they did that, and they had the thing that you had to walk in the gangway or whatever it's called, was because it was freezing outside. So they couldn't have that because people slipped. So they had to change it. So their massive upgrade was for them to actually get a gangway that they could put up so that people wouldn't slip. And it was only because there was so many health and safety things. And then you walk out, and then literally there's stores, there's people there, and then there's the carousel, and there's only one carousel for the entire airport. And you're like, how? Like, how have you gone from so strict that you've checked? We had to go through, I think, 2 security checkpoints when we went through New York, and then I flew up to this other airport, and it's like Jeff, who's just pedaling a bike so that the bloody carousel can go around. I'm like, something's not right here. Like, one of these things is not like the other.
Yes, no, it is strange sort of thing. Airports are just weird from place to place. But anyway, I've just realised what the time is, and we're gonna have to wrap it up right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, yeah, no. It also may be a little bit later because I did have a lost grandmother.
Yes,
shall we say?
no. I'm aware. I've it's roughly in time for our podcast episode, then, so that's fine. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say a big thank you to all, obviously, our recent subscribers, our recent followers. Please make sure you do like, share, subscribe, comments. It all helps with the various algorithms that we're a part of. Apart from that, obviously, you can find us available on all good podcast software. If we're not, let us know. You can also see our beautiful faces on our YouTube channel and Spotify at Dorks Down Under, which is also our handle for our social media accounts on Twitter and TikTok.
And FYI,
which have been very quiet because I've been very, very busy.
That's the whole beautiful face thing is also very subjective. So,
oh, God forbid. But anyway, much love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. We will be back next week, hopefully with me celebrating an All Blacks victory.
You reckon?
Hope so. Peace out, people.
Laters.